He has been termed by many current and former government officials as one of Kenya's best inaugural lawyers who defined the making of a republic. Even though Charles Njonjo has been hailed for his astute organizational skills, there is a dark side of his legacy. One which is seen as high-handed, vindictive, and whose ambition trampled on many political opponents. Sam Gituku takes a look at Njonjo's split legacy.
As is usual when a public figure dies, many public officials sent their condolence messages upon the passing of Charles Njonjo. But Chief Justice Martha Koome appears to have ruffled many a feather. Koome stated that Njonjo distinguished himself as a lawyer and was a great encouragement to other members of the Black Bar. A section of lawyers could hear none of it. US-based legal academic Professor Makau Mutua disagreed with Koome, saying Njonjo will go down in history as one of the most malignant anti-black, vindictive and anti-democratic officials in Kenya. Former LSK Chair Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi found CJ's statement not truthful. This perhaps informed by the many accounts that Njonjo, the son of a paramount chief and oblivious of the colonial struggle, wasn't so enthusiastic about the Africanization of the government to the extent that some say he was opposed to the idea of certain professions being accessed by Kenyan natives and in particular black Africans. But it is a dig up into the history books that reveals a rare official account of Njonjo's dealings. A report of the judicial inquiry against Njonjo, commissioned by President Daniel Moi in July 1983, gives an account of allegations against Njonjo, most of which were confirmed. Njonjo, for instance, is accused of personal vendetta against opponents, legal inconsistencies in the release of prisoners, some of whom he released from his house for political mileage. Njonjo was found to have traded favors with fellow politicians and ministers, executing actions that only him could. Abdallah Ndovo Mwidau, a former MP of Mombasa South, suffered loss through the actions and influence of Njonjo. He had previously served as a councillor in Mombasa and had been working with SGS Company for 28 years. In 1979, he decided to return to politics and run for a parliamentary seat. The Judicial Inquiry report accounts that despite securing party clearance, Njonjo instructed that Mwidau had to choose to either keep his job at SGS or run for politics. SGS was not a government firm, and so Mwidau wondered why the influence. Njonjo would tell Mwidau it is the then President Daniel Moi that wanted him to choose which way. Njonjo and Mwidau would eventually agree that he could run. He won the seat, but was eventually forced to quit the SGS company. Mwidau was forced to an early retirement, losing all benefits that included educational fees for 13 children. It would later emerge that SGS parent company was on the verge of losing a contract with the Central Bank of Kenya, forcing the directors of the firm to bow to pressure. The report details that the then managing director believed Njonjo to be the government. Later, Njonjo would apologize to Mwidau, saying that was a very big mistake. It had been informed by Njonjo's clamor to control local governments across the country and had been using local politicians to meddle in local elections. Mwidau would appear not to have been in the right books of Njonjo. Another encounter was in January 1981 when Njonjo shipped in excess baggage through the national carrier Kenya Airways. He had not paid for 270 kilograms worth of baggage in a flight from London. Security staff brought it to the attention of senior police officer Isao Kihumba Kioni, at that time seconded to Kenya Airways. Kioni raised the alarm and checked with the management whether the luggage had been paid for. It had not, and so the matter was escalated with an invoice of 36,000 shillings sent to Charles Njonjo. He never paid and instead summoned the top management of KQ to his office alongside the then Permanent Secretary of Transport, Simon Bugwa. Kioni was quarrelled by Njonjo, who accused him of witch hunt. Thinking the matter had been settled, Kioni was later sacked from KQ. He returned to his job at the special branch but didn't last. At 40 years of age, he was retired in what was termed, quote, public interest. Many accounts indicate that Njonjo had harbored presidential ambitions, that even though he facilitated a smooth transition from the late Jomo Kenyatta to Daniel Moi as president, he was behind the scenes, crafting a political machinery. Francis Arap Mutual, a former MP for Kerio Central, told the Inquiry Commission that he had been offered money to recruit several MPs to Njonjo's side. He told that Njonjo had revealed to him a list of MPs that he thought not useful to him or the then government. They were, according to the report, former Nyeri MP Waruru Kanja, Mark Mwithaga of Nakuru Town, Koigi Waamwere of Subukia, Martin Shikuku of Butere, and Samuel Arap Nyeni of Aldai. Mutual claimed that Njonjo told him he would do his best to get rid of them. Most of the said MPs served jail terms or exile at some point, including Mwithaga, who was re-elected while in prison.
At one point, Moi asked me, "What do people say Njonjo is?" So I told him, according to people, the most powerful person in this country is Charles Njonjo. If he wants you in jail, even if you have not done anything at all, you are going to end up in jail. Funny enough, Moi started laughing at my answer. He laughed and laughed.
Njonjo was found guilty of most of the accounts, but was pardoned by President Moi, heralding the end of his political power, handing him an early retirement to a quiet life. Chief Justice Martha Koome noted Njonjo's legacy will also serve as an inspiring reference for judges, judicial officers, and advocates on the fundamental considerations of trial preparation to expedite access to justice.
The justice will dispense under the shadow of the blind goddess on top of this building.
A man who was many things to different people. A man whose grip on the state law office was not in doubt, executing his assignments with shrewd efficiency. Sam Gituku, Citizen TV.